Man United fans do not know what Zirkzee's been doing off the pitch and in training, putting in the extra effort to turn his Manchester United career around. And we can see that on the field lately. He's also being a mentor to Cheeto and more. So I want to talk about Zirkzee and give him credit because he's been our best attacker the last 2 months and start on a positive note. But there is stories coming out saying that Amorim regrets joining United. He doesn't like that he had to join mid-season, but he got the now or never. And when he came into United, he didn't realise quite how hard the job was going to be. And actually, he didn't think the players were this bad, apparently, is what's been said, which I think has elements of truth to it. I think he thought the job would be hard, but I think he didn't realise it'd be this hard. When he was asked about INEOS and backing him in the transfer window, he basically said we'll have to wait and see what happens in the summer. He wasn't backed in January. It'll be interesting. Transfer news, Delap, Gyökeres, David, Osenham, lots of transfer news in regards to striker, and we will talk about all the transfer news, but let's get into the video. So starting with topic number 1, Joshua Zirkzee. Man United fans don't know what Zirkzee's been doing out of training. Joshua Zirkzee is regularly the last player off the training ground to have shooting sessions with Carlos Fernandes. Saunas, ice baths, massages, he does it all to be in the best possible physical condition according to United staff. Do you know what's pretty mad is I said in my live stream a couple of days ago, Zirkzee looks fitter. He looks sharper. He looks a bit faster. And I said, I don't know if it's because he's been starting multiple games, so he's put up that match fitness. But then Ruben Amorim made a comment about Zirkzee having a yard of pace more, being fitter, losing a little bit of weight. And you can see it. Zirkzee's been really training his physical ability because I think that's where he limited. He had it technically. Zirkzee's got it technically. He's got it intelligence-wise, but physically, he's been a bit slow. He's ran a bit slower, and he wasn't quite as fit or mobile as other players. But I think physically, he looks so much better, in better shape. He looks in a much better condition. And I think we're seeing that on the pitch. And I think it's good to see that he really wanted to turn his United career around. He wasn't, sulking, get me out of here after 6 months. He was, I want to turn my career around. I'm going to do extra training sessions, shooting sessions. I know he hasn't got loads of goals this season, but he's not a goal scorer. He's more of a creator and someone that's going to influence the amount of goals we score. Which people might say, you sign him as a striker, but he's not a goal scorer. But he's never been a number 9. He's been a 9.5. He's more of a 10. And Ruben Amorim sees him as a 10. But he's been our best player in attack the last few games, and I think you can see the effort he goes in. And I also like how Zirkzee is a bit of a leader. Zirkzee and Cheeto sit side by side in the first team dressing room at Old Trafford these days. Apparently, he's acting as a bit of a mentor. And even when Cheeto, I think, missed a shot, he got his arm around him and just was like, better luck next time. And you could see that he was trying to guide Cheeto on the pitch. And there was elements of leadership from Joshua Zirkzee, which I really liked. Also, guys, if you do like this video, please do go ahead and hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe down below if you're new. I do 10-minute news roundup videos every day, and normally a live stream every day as well to interact with you guys. So, this is what I had to say on Zirkzee. We're starting to see more and more the Zirkzee we saw at Bologna. Over the last 2 months, he's looked much sharper. He is clearly a very talented, technical, and intelligent player, but he needs intelligent, high-intensity players around him to thrive. If we build a better team, I can see Zirkzee having a good career at United. Back in December, he was booed against Newcastle, a young signing, misprofiled by Ten Hag because Ten Hag was trying to play him the same way he played Beckhorst, trying to adapt to a new league and its physical demands and more. It just goes to show that new signings deserve more time to settle, especially when playing up top for United right now, because that is the most impossible position. He's now more of a 10. Zirkzee's not the finished article, but he's been our best attacker the last 2 months, and we're finally seeing the quality he can bring. Glad he got his goal yesterday to go over top performance. There's still more I want to see from Zirkzee, but we're seeing progress, we're seeing improvements, we're seeing signs. And that's why I backed Rasmus Højlund in his first season, because I could see he was raw, but there was 16 goals this game. Højlund was good, Højlund brought this, Højlund brought that. This season, it's increasingly difficult to back Højlund. With Zirkzee, he started poorly, but he actually had 1 or 2 good games like Crystal Palace, Southampton, right at the beginning of the season. And then he had that dip and he was poor. And a lot of fans got on Zirkzee's back, and I was upset about that, but I said, maybe we've got to let Zirkzee go. Maybe that's one of those where there's interest in him. And I was upset because I was like, I really wanted Zirkzee because I watched him at Bologna. And I said, this is not the Zirkzee I saw at Bologna. We're now starting to see the Zirkzee we saw at Bologna. He's not fully there yet. He needs intelligent players and players around him. He's very much a passer, creator. But I think you get the right players in. Zirkzee could have a future at Manchester United. I think he's shown there is ability and quality there, which I'm glad he is. So, let's talk about topic number 2. Ruben Amorim shocked by how bad Manchester United players are and regrets decision to join mid-season is being reported. The Portuguese boss, 40, feels he should have waited until the summer at least and should not have succumbed to the now or never ultimatum issued to him by United Chiefs. Sources say the ex-Sporting boss has personally shocked by how bad the players are, having thought they were much better, and is prepared to take the hot seat at Old Trafford. So apparently, Amorim, when he joined United, thought the players were better than they were, and I think he was probably right to think that. I think a lot of people thought Ten Hag needs to go. These players are better than how they're playing. We need a new manager in to come in and get the best out of these players. The problem with Ruben Amorim is his system doesn't suit half the players. So Ruben Amorim's thinking Ten Hag's not doing very well, but we signed this player, this player, and this player. You know, we know this player's a good player. We know this player's a good player. They're not doing well under Ten Hag, but they maybe showed signs last season or the season before, or we signed them and we wanted the new signings to shine. A guy Ten Hag wasn't playing, and obviously a guy who's got a lot better since Ten Hag's gone. So I think Ruben Amorim was right to think that Man United players were better than they were. I think he came into United knowing it'd be a difficult job, but I think he didn't realise how hard of a job it would be and how difficult it would be and how these players lack physically in so much until he got in the door. So that doesn't surprise me. And I think he probably wishes he could have joined at the end of the season when he could have had that transfer window to help him out, because it's been a really difficult job for him. And yes, he got Dorgu in January, but he wasn't really backed in January because they took Anthony away, they took Rashford away, didn't replace him, and now Ahmad is out injured. It's been an incredibly difficult job for Ruben Amorim. So that doesn't surprise me. And I said joining mid-season when the club has no money to spend is not easy, especially when your system is different to Ten Hag's. Ruud van Nistelrooy, if he was managing us to the end of the season, would probably do better than Ruben Amorim, because Ruud van Nistelrooy would just adapt to what suits our players best. Now, Amorim doesn't want to do that. He wants to do his system and get rid of the players that don't fit his system, which is better in the long term, but in the short term, Ruud van Nistelrooy is better. So I get that. And I think as well, considering they didn't rate Ten Hag and Amorim was available in the summer, why didn't we get in the summer? You know, Ten Hag couldn't get the best out of these players, so how can you expect Amorim, that now wants wing-backs, tens instead of wingers, to get the best out of these players? I think there's players that have improved under Ruben Amorim, and there's progress, but there's also players that haven't improved, like Delap, like Garnacho, like Højlund. And, you know, I think that's a big thing. You know, there's a lot of players that don't fit the system. If you've got a lack of money to spend, why are you insisting he comes in mid-season when you can't back him mid-season? Amorim needs players with the right intensity and physicality. He needs that even more than Ten Hag, but also a technical ability and mindset. You know, after one transfer window at Sporting, Amorim really did turn around Sporting, and that was the impact of having the right signings coming in. And I think if INEOS get recruitment right, he can do that at United. He was on track to win the league with Sporting, so of course he didn't want to leave Sporting mid-season, but United said to him now or never, which I think elements of him would regret. And even in a press conference, when he was asked if he was backed, he said, let's wait and see. He was sort of talking, he never really said, oh, I felt like I've been backed. But he's not going to say I've not been backed, but I feel like he doesn't feel backed. So let's quickly get through these transfer stories, because Amorim wants a striker, Amorim wants a wing-back, but striker is very much the priority. Now, Delap is definitely a target. Manchester United are very interested in Liam Delap if the price is right for him. Chelsea, Newcastle and other teams are also interested. It's reported that Ipswich will ask for around 40 million for him in the summer. The player's keen on staying in England. We also know that Ornstein and Whitwell have replied, have reliable sources, I meant to say, have confirmed interest in Delap in the past. 40 million if Ipswich go down, that looks like to be the case. Good option, not my first choice. I think we need someone a bit more experienced, but I do like the player, and he's proven in the Premier League he can score goals. So we'll have to wait and see with that. And in terms of a cheap option, although it was said by Court Offside, who are a bit hit and miss, Jonathan David has rejected 6 approaches from Brighton and West Ham United, as he wants a top 6 club. Manchester United and Chelsea, 2 of the clubs more interested in him. He will not rush a decision. He will take his time. I think Man United and Chelsea, they're probably all over this free agent. What I will say is he'll be a free agent, but this means he may have bigger wage demands, which could put INEOS off. Tosin was a free agent. We liked him, but he went to Chelsea because Chelsea were willing to pay his wages. We weren't. I like Jonathan David, but again, I don't want to give him ridiculous wages. I think, look, 21 goals, 10 assists, done well in League 1, decent player, good player. He wouldn't be my first choice, but it's almost like if Højlund goes out on loan, Jonathan David could come in as the second striker, and then Nottingham could come in as the first striker. I'd be open to that. I don't know if United have the funds and the capability to do that, but there's definitely a decent player there in Jonathan David. The dream signing for me is Victor Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres has expressed his desire to leave Lisbon in the summer. Manchester United could face competition from Chelsea and Arsenal. Also Barcelona, Bayern Munich and PSG in the mix. I think Arsenal get Sesko. I think Liverpool go for Isak. I think it could be Barcelona or Manchester United for Gyökeres. Now, Gyökeres has a 58 million release clause. Ruben Amorim would, of course, want him. Manchester United, of course, will be looking at him. But apparently he wants to play Champions League football. And him coming to Manchester United, we don't know about that. Which, fair enough. We haven't had any news about Osimhen today. but United have been heavily linked with him. Romano confirms we are interested in him, but it depends on his wages because he wants high wages. He's not willing to drop that. And a lot of the Osimhen stories could be agent pushed, but United do like him. So that's another one to watch. That's all your Man United news rounded up into 10 minutes. Thank you for watching, guys. See you next time.